For years now, lost media has been a hot topic on the internet. Typically, people have their favorite pieces, typically well-known pieces like Hitogata, Clockman, or Metropolis. Still, there are many more pieces that, while not as well known, deserve not only equal time in the spotlight, but just as much chance to be found. These are those pieces. This is lesser-known lost media.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and welcome to volume 62 of Lesser Known Lost Media, the show where we look at lost media that's a little less talked about here on YouTube. If you're joining us for the first time, how we do this is we start with 4 normal, family-friendly pieces of lost media, take a brief ad break, and then end with a spicier piece. With all that being said, let's get started. At number 1, we have American Beauty, lost alternate ending of drama film, existence unconfirmed, from 1999. American Beauty is a critically acclaimed drama film released in 1999. It was directed by Sam Mendes and starred Kevin Spacey, Annette Bening, and Thora Birch. The film won the Oscar for Best Picture in 2000, and Spacey won Best Actor for his performance. The film's plot focuses on American middle-class everyman Lester Burnham struggling with a midlife crisis. He blackmails his boss to be fired from his job as a magazine executive and later takes a job at a fast food outlet, which doesn't improve his already troubled relationships with his wife Carolyn and teenage daughter Jane. Lester also has new next-door neighbors, retired U.S. Marine Colonel Frank Fitz, his wife Barbara, and their teenage son Ricky, an aspiring filmmaker with whom Jane later falls in love. Colonel Fitz is deeply homophobic and soon begins harassing neighboring couple Jim Olmeyer and Jim Berkeley. Increasingly bored and restless, Lester attends a high school basketball game with Jane and becomes infatuated with his daughter's cheerleader friend Angela Hayes. After Colonel Fitz sees Lester and Ricky together through Lester's garage window and later finds his son's videos of a nude Lester lifting weights, he comes to the conclusion that his son is gay and plans on killing Lester, who he assumes is responsible. And if you've not seen this movie, that is a heavily abridged synopsis of this deeply complex film. Now, as to the alleged alternate ending, in the released cuts ending, Lester Burnham is shot to death by Colonel Fitz. In an alternate ending, Lester's daughter Jane and Colonel Fitz's son Ricky are arrested and put on trial for Lester's murder. The prosecutors use Ricky's videos against him as evidence. One version of this ending resulted in the two being found guilty, while the other showed them found innocent. However, the arrest and trial scenes were eventually cut entirely due to concerns that they would detract from the final overall film. Alan Ball, one of the film's screenwriters, told Amazon.com, "We actually shot it, and when it got into editing, it was just too cynical and too awful." An interview about this deleted ending with Ball can be found online. As no footage has been found or released, and Menendez hasn't commented on the subject, it cannot be confirmed how much of the intended ending was filmed, or if it was, how close it came to completion. However, many other members of the film's crew besides Ball have recalled shooting at least some part of it. Now, I watched this movie many years ago, well after it came out though, at least 10 years after it came out. And honestly, I'm not going to defend the film entirely. There are parts of it that are definitely a product of its time that are now, they still were problematic back then, just people didn't see it as much that way. But it's a very deep film. It explores a lot of interesting ideas, and yeah, definitely adding this last scene to the end of it, I believe would have detracted from the film overall. That being said, it is a lost piece of media from a film a lot of people love, so I'm sure they would love to at least have the option to see it, even if ultimately the film is better without it. At number 2, we have Booksmart, lost second draft of American teen comedy film from 2014. Now, in 2009, screenwriters Emily Halpern and Sarah Haskins penned a screenplay titled Booksmart involving 2 overachiever girls attempting to get boyfriends before prom. The script was placed on the Blacklist Best Liked Scripts of 2009, among other screenplays such as The Social Network and The King's Speech. In 2014, writer Susanna Fogel added on to the original draft, most notably making the character Amy a lesbian and having the 2 girls focused on going to an after-prom party to seek out their now single crushes. Annapurna Pictures later picked up the script to produce, with Olivia Wilde pitching on the script and being put on to direct. During this time, Caitlin Dever was also attached to the project as Amy. In 2017, Katie Silberman was brought on to make more changes to the script and refine it into the shooting script used during the filming in 2018. Now, while the 2009 and 2018 drafts are available online, the 2014 draft with Susanna Fogel's edits are not available. Only the contents of the changes are summarized, with no other descriptions of how the script was altered. Considering Fogel has had other prolific work such as directing and co-writing The Spy Who Dumped Me in 2018, it's possible the 2014 draft of Booksmart could be released to the public at some point. I'm always amazed at how long it can take from an initial concept and then into the final draft of something. You have this idea for a movie, you write a script, and then that script could be edited and reworked for years before a film even starts filming, so it's just kind of amazing how much can change from the initial concept to what we then see on screen. And while we have the beginning and the end available to us, in this case the middle part is gone, and I don't know, I just find that very interesting. I've not seen this film, I don't know if I have any intention of seeing it, but I think the exact nature of the lost media is definitely interesting. At number 3, we have Animaniacs Potty Emergency, lost deleted scenes of an episode of the animated comedy series from 1993. Now, we talked about it in the last video, but in case you haven't watched that video yet, Animaniacs is an animated TV series about 3 siblings of the Warner family that aired on Fox from September of 1993 through September of 1995, and then on the WB until November of 1998. Then continuing on that channel in reruns until 2000. One of the most famous episodes, titled Potty Emergency, concerns Wacko having trouble finding a place to use the bathroom after the one at the movie theater is out of order. On current prints of the episode, 2 scenes are missing that have not resurfaced on the internet. Now, what are these scenes? Well, the first scene is a different version of the park scene where the man at the park holding the hose turns it away from the camera, with the nozzle not visible. It was first mentioned in a fan community for the show in 1993, but it hasn't resurfaced anywhere online yet. The second of these cutscenes is more well known among the community of Animaniacs fans. As shown in the first surviving animation cell, which can be found on the Lost Media Wiki, the episode originally ends with Dot complaining about the number of trash people thrown into the streets as they leave the movie theater. The second cell shows the siblings passing Wacko's mallet. An uncut version of this episode was screened at the 1993 edition of Comic-Con, though it is unknown if this version has either of these scenes in it. Now, South Park would have us believe that there are 2 kinds of people in the world, ones that like Animaniacs and ones that hate Animaniacs. And, no offense to Eric Cartman, though, he deserves every bit of offense he gets. I am one of those people that loves Animaniacs. I remember this episode. I had no idea there was stuff supposedly missing from it. Overall, I don't necessarily think it would make a big difference to the episode, but again, it's something that is a series loved by a community, and they don't have access to everything from it, and that is going to make them unhappy. And that is why people, no matter how inconsequential, want lost media to be found. Especially in this era of the internet where we like to believe that everything is at our fingertips forever, we're not going to like it if something's just out of reach. At number 4, we have Back and in Attack, lost unreleased Millie Vanilli comeback album from 1998. So Back and in Attack was the name of an album made by the duo Millie Vanilli, which was planned to be released in 1998, until it was shelved after the death of co-singer Rob Pilatus. Millie Vanilli was a popular duo made up of Fab Morvan and Rob Pilatus under the wing of Frank Farian, known for previous projects such as Boney M, infamous for Farian being the real voice behind the band. In the late 80s, they had multiple chart-hopping hits like Girl You Know It's True and Blame It on the Rain, putting them in the spotlight. One night at the Lake Compounce theme park, while they were performing Girl You Know It's True, their backing track skipped, and it looked like the singers were repeatedly singing Girl You Know It's over and over again. It soon broke out that not only were they lip-syncing that performance, but their careers were based on lip-syncing, as they could barely speak English, and the songs were actually performed by various other singers. Because of this, Millie Vanilli was practically over, as their sales plummeted and they were shunned by the public, with only a few songs and albums being released, which sold incredibly poorly. Years later, in 1997, the duo got back together to record a comeback album called Back and in Attack. Rob Pilatus, one of the singers of Millie Vanilli, had multiple personal problems throughout the years, however. He abused drugs and committed different crimes, including even making a terrorist threat. This ultimately caused him to get arrested, where Fab Morvan had to bail him out. On April 2nd, 1998, a day before the album's promotion, Pilatus was found dead from an accidental drug overdose in his hotel in Frankfurt, Germany. Due to Pilatus' death, the album was shelved and therefore never released. While there may be a chance that in the future it could be released or remade, thanks to co-singer Fab Morvan still having a solo career and possible access to the album, it is unlikely. Now, as a child in the 90s, I was not aware of Millie Vanilli as a band, but I was certainly aware of the controversy about them lip-syncing. While it's fairly commonplace for singers to lip-sync at their concerts these days, back then it was not. I mean, I'm sure it still happened, but it just wasn't as publicized. People had that suspension of disbelief, but then the revelation that not only were they lip syncing their performance, which I honestly think is a bit, anyone that does it, that's a bit of a wow, we paid money to hear you pretend to sing your song. But no, the fact that their songs weren't them, they were just the front man for other singers, just a popular face. That was quite a scandal. Oddly enough, I had heard that Rob Pilatus had self-unalived himself, which I guess in a way is true, though the things I saw in the band back in the day never once mentioned that it was accidental. So I'm sure that was played up for views, but again, it's definitely interesting that they were like, okay, we're gonna rise above this, we're gonna come back, and they ultimately, unfortunately, didn't. Who's to say if the album was any good? But things like this are the things people want to find. They want to know. There's at this point the album is an unknown, and people hate the unknown. They're afraid of the unknown, and so hopefully one day a Fab Morvan gives the people what they want, so to speak. Alright guys, before we get to that final spicy piece, I just wanted to say thank you all so much for your continued support of the channel. I wanted to let you know that at the time of recording this, we are just 50 subscribers away to reaching our goal of 1,000, which is truly amazing. I did not think we would get to this point so quickly. And again, this series, all of you listening are the reason the channel has grown the way it has. While I am experimenting with new content for the channel, such as the Urban Legends series, which has released by now, so be sure to go look at that. This week we've got Ohio. I'm thinking next week I'll probably do Michigan, and kind of getting away from some of the neckbeard or RPG horror story that, while popular, I mean, ultimately for my own mental health, I kind of want to walk away from that, at least for a bit. This show has remained the foundation of my continued growth, and I thank you all so much for being a part of that. The other thing I wanted to talk about today is eBay etiquette. Now, as many of you probably know, this channel was originally started as a way for me to try and, attract more business over to my eBay and later Mercari, and that's a side business I'm still running to this day with my collectibles, with my custom miniatures, and it's business is down, but it's still steady to a point. But what I wanted to talk about right now is that should you decide to make a purchase on eBay, be kind to the seller. I know there are some large sellers on eBay that, their customer service is lacking, but a lot of people selling on the platform are just like me. They're trying to make a bit of extra money, and it's important to remember that you're dealing with individual people, not just this giant conglomerate selling goods. So my most recent sale, I sold two pieces. One was a custom painted Funko Pop, and the other was a custom repainted anime figure, both of the spicy variety. Now, the buyer, who I will not name, made their purchase late at night while I was asleep. I woke up to it Friday morning. I was very tired that day. I had to, get ready, get to work. I did not have time to get this item that had been purchased while I was asleep, packaged and sent off in the post office that day. As post office hours are very limited on Saturdays, and post office in certain areas near me just aren't even open on Sundays, and they don't have, a bin where you can put packages in, it stands to reason that if you buy something Friday, it's going to ship out on Monday. Also, when you buy something from someone on one of these sites, you're kind of trusting that they know how to successfully and accurately package an item. But instead of going with either of those two assumptions, my buyer, who had not messaged me prior to making the purchase, starts bombarding me with messages. Things like, hey, make sure that each of these is packaged separately from one another. Okay, fair enough. He'd already paid for 2 boxes, that's fine. But then he's like, oh, make sure the Funko Pop is in a pop protector. Well, I don't typically offer that, as I don't have a bunch of Funko stuff pop protectors lying around, though I did in this case, so whatever. They then demand in another message that I double box everything, which I don't know why they would need that. I've never typically double boxed items. And then late Sunday night, again, while I'm asleep, I get a message going, are you gonna send us Monday? To which at this point I am annoyed with them, and I simply respond, yes. Also, by kind of going with the spirit of their rules, especially because I don't entirely, their requests were very odd, I put each item in its own separate box and then double boxed it by putting them both in a larger box, as they are going to the same place. Meaning that this is protected by essentially 4 different packages: the pop protector, the box surrounding the pop protector, the box the one item is in, and then the box they are both put into. So that's ultimately still 4 boxes. Most times when you buy multiple items from someone, you get 1 box. You trust that this person you are buying from knows what they're doing, or if you have specific requests, you message them before you buy the item, because, adding requests afterwards means that, hey, I have no way of putting on, let's say, an additional fee if one would be required. You're buying it as is, essentially, and then you're trying to go, yeah, but I kind of want this instead. And to give a little bit of grace to this person, who knows, maybe they've had a bad experience before and now they just want to make sure that they don't have a repeat. But in that case, message the person ahead of time. Go, hey, could you do this? If I can, I'll say yes. If not, I'll say no, and then you can make the choice of whether or not to make the purchase. But to make demands after you have already made the purchase is just rude, because you're not asking, you're telling. So guys, while I do hope that you will go over to eBay and Mercari and check out my wares after you're done watching this video, just remember, if you decide to make a purchase from me or from any seller, to be polite, be respectful, and know that you're dealing with another human being, not some robotic corporate entity, so act accordingly. Being nice is a free action. Alright guys, so now it's time for the spicy piece. So, for today's spicy piece of Lost Media, we have Love Letter, My True Feelings, Lost Builds of a Cancelled Stealth Action Video Game from 2020. Love Letter, My True Feelings is a cancelled stealth action video game developed by Dr. Apis in 2020. The game is infamously known for its controversial development history and its comparison towards another game called Yandere Simulator. The game was originally announced in July of 2020 under the name of Lovesick, with a trailer being uploaded on YouTube claiming to be a revamped version of Yandere Simulator that was done in 2 weeks. The project ended up gaining a lot of attention when the trailer was uploaded. However, it also got the most attention from the Yandere Simulator team, including its developer, Yandere Dev, which criticized the trailer for using most of Yandere Simulator's assets and characters. This later led Yandere Dev to enter an argument with Dr. Apis over the game. After most of the conversations were leaked online, this caused Love Letter's support to increase. The trailer was later removed from YouTube due to a copyrighted music track, which it would later be re-uploaded with no audio, and Dr. Apis later announced that all Yandere Simulator related assets would be replaced with original assets, and that Lovesick would be renamed to Love Letter, My True Feelings. Dr. Apis would later upload gameplay previews and progress reports of Love Letter on his YouTube channel. In August of 2020, however, it was documented that there have been several dramas within the Love Letter team, such as slandering, doxing, dislike bombing, and team mismanagement. It was also made clear that Love Letter was built from other failed projects created by Dr. Apis and their partner, one of them being called Heartbreak. However, it would also come to light that Dr. Apis had groomed and sexually harassed a 10-year-old through several explicit conversations, as explained in a document. Despite Dr. Apis publishing a document where they address staff drama and allegations towards them, the drama escalated to the point where on September 23rd of 2020, they uploaded a video announcing the cancellation of Love Letter, stating the development was affecting their mental health, later concluding that them, along with the rest of the Love Letter team, would take a long break. After that, Apis uploaded gameplay videos and an autobiographical video to keep their channel active. However, due to a lot of backlash, Apis deleted all of their gameplay videos, except for their autobiography, and left their channel inactive before it was deleted. During the game's short-lived developments, no builds of Love Letter and the original Lovesick version have ever been released online. In 2021, Dr. Apis deleted all of their social media, including their YouTube channel, and has since disappeared from the internet, making it very unlikely for a playable build of the game to surface anytime soon. It is also unknown if someone else who worked on the game has any of these builds. It's one of those things that, as an internet content creator myself, it seems like there's not that many rules that you have to follow to not get canceled. I mean, sure, you could offend people in any number of ways on the internet, but overall, most of it can get overlooked with, very few exceptions. And one of the ones that content creators, both in the game world, just people creating content for people to enjoy, whether that's videos, games, whatever, seem to forget is to not touch children. The amount of times a beloved content creator of some kind, it's just come out that, oh hey, by the way, this person who you really enjoyed their movies, their videos, the games they made, the books they wrote, well, they're a pedo. And you're just sitting there like, damn it, I just wanted to enjoy the things I enjoy, and this guy had to go and be a weirdo. Now, what I find also weird about this Dr. Apis person, besides their proclivities, is that I've played Yandere Simulator, at least its build in its current state, which is still not really finished. The game is not good. The subject matter is cringe, and overall, I don't know why someone would wish to make a knockoff of it. And not only did they make a knockoff of it, but they stole assets, which, given Yandere Simulator's, somewhat troubled development history, didn't really turn people off of it. But oh, hey, you forgot the golden rule. Don't touch, don't groom, don't do shit to children. And Dr. Apis apparently at some point forgot this rule. Then had the cojones to go, I'm gonna step away because it's affecting my mental health, which is important. Oh, is it now? I wish you, showed that same level of concern about the mental health of, that 10-year-old you were talking to. But like most of these people on the internet, they don't want to sit there with the backlash, which ultimately I can't necessarily fault them for. I mean, who wants to, whether it's true or not, who wants to get yelled at and called a bunch of names by people that don't even know what you look like? If you can just pack up and run away, why wouldn't you? But, people who were fans of this project, this person left didn't even have the, niceness to at least release the unfinished builds online, so maybe that someone who might really want this project for some reason could have worked on it themselves and maybe had a little nice fan game. Who knows? Nope, they got rid of all of it, never released a build, and I'm sure there's some people who were very disappointed in that. And for me, this Dr. Apis seems just like a one bad decision after another, so, their content can stay lost for all I care. I know that goes in direct violation of the, we want to find all the lost media code, social code, but, it is what it is. I'm not going to apologize for having morals. And that's the video, guys. Be sure to like, be sure to comment, be sure to subscribe. We are so close to that goal. Also, if you're going to buy anything off of eBay from anybody, make sure you're nice about it. Make sure you remember the human social contract. Also, remember not to do anything weird with children. Cannot stress that enough. And until next time, I'm Mr. Sean. This is Chimera Miniatures, and I sincerely hope that you alpha great day and an even beta tomorrow. Bye-bye!
Welcome to the show, we hope you'll stick around. Mr. Sean is here to entertain the crowd. We've got a bit of everything, 'cause everything's allowed. Chimera Miniatures is here to stay, we hope we make you proud. Welcome to the show, we hope you'll stick around. Mr. Sean is here to entertain the crowd. We've got a bit of everything, 'cause everything's allowed. Chimera Miniatures is here to stay, we hope we make you proud.